We have breaking news here on 76ers now as the Sixers have traded Buddy Hield to the Golden State Warriors in a sign and trade here in NBA free agency. This coming in from Shams Charania, who said the Warriors and Sixers are in serious talks on this sign and trade. They have been in deep discussions to finalize the deal, sending Buddy Hield to the Warriors. Now, this deal is not quite yet official. There's still some details that need to work out here. And at this moment in time, we don't know exactly what the Sixers will be getting back from the Warriors. Could there be multiple teams involved? We will see, but we will keep you updated throughout tomorrow on what the Sixers do get back from the Warriors. And that is why you subscribe here to the channel. We keep you updated on all the latest Sixers breaking news, trades, signings, everything going on with your Philadelphia 76ers, just as we have all off season long. So make sure you hit that sub button. We're trying to reach 18,000 subscribers here on the channel, so it would be much, much appreciated. Now, let's get to this Buddy Hield deal. Again, not quite official yet, but does sound like it's going to happen at some point, and we don't know the exact compensation. But let's talk about Buddy Hield a little bit here, because the Sixers traded for Buddy Hield at this past NBA trade deadline. At the time, the Sixers were really, really struggling, right? Joel Embiid had gone down with his injury, and Tyrese Maxey was doing his best to try and carry this team, keep them afloat in the Eastern Conference. But there really was no one on the team helping him out that could carry that scoring load that was left as a void from Joel Embiid leaving the lineup. So at the deadline, Daryl Morey decides to get a little bit aggressive and trade for Buddy Hield, who, of course, is on an expiring contract. And at the time, Daryl Morey had said, we feel like we got the best player during this year's NBA trade deadline, a trade deadline which included OG Anunoby being traded from the Raptors to the Knicks. So clearly Daryl Morey felt very, very confident about the player and about the fit of Buddy Hield on the Sixers. And the first couple weeks of Buddy Hield's tenure in Philadelphia, it looked like Daryl Morey was right. Buddy Hield was playing some of the best basketball of his career in those first couple weeks with the team. Obviously, we saw that shooting prowess that he's had his whole career, right? He's always been known as a tremendous three-point shooter, one of the best in the league, right up there with the Steph Currys, the Klay Thompsons. He is a true threat from the three-point line. But it wasn't just that we were seeing, right? With this absence of scoring that the Sixers had and people who could get their own shots, attack off the dribble, and just put the ball in the basket, we saw Buddy Hield show a whole new side of his game that he really hasn't shown very often, and that was attacking off the dribble, creating shots for himself, finishing at the lane, and creating shots for others, right? So it really looked like Buddy Hield was a revelation for the Sixers, and he was going to fit in so well with this team as they tried to make a deep run towards the postseason and keep their seeding high enough to stay out of that NBA play-in tournament. But after those first couple of weeks for the Sixers, it really, really fell off. I mean, his play diminished, his minutes diminished, his role diminished. He wasn't really able to do the things that he showed when he was first traded to the 76ers. And it was disappointing because, you know, the idea of Buddy Hield is this floor spacer that could really play well long-term even with Joel Embiid, with Tyrese Maxey. But we saw towards the end of the regular season, once Joel Embiid came back, it really just wasn't clicking how you thought it would. And there was hopes that once the playoffs started, they'd be able to figure something out, that skill that he has, that shooting ability that he has would just, you know, rise to the top and we'd see it come postseason time. But in that first round series against the Knicks, you know, Buddy Hield was getting DNPs. He was barely playing. And he flashed that ability in that Game 6 against the New York Knicks. But that's really the only time we saw what he could really do. And it was sort of like a flash in the pan, right? And after the season ended, you know, Daryl Morey had said it just didn't really fit like we thought it would. He didn't really mesh well in the system with Nick Nurse, with Joel Embiid, with Tyrese Maxey as we had initially hoped at the trade deadline. And again, it's just so disappointing because he's a type of player where you might have thought, okay, maybe he can find a long-term home here in Philadelphia. Again, with that shooting ability, it just unfortunately did not come to fruition. And now we flash forward to free agency. What do the Sixers do? They obviously draft Jared McCain, another guard, to be in that backcourt with Tyrese Maxey. Okay, fine. You know, still a chance they go out and get Buddy Hield, despite Morey's comments that it maybe didn't fit as well as you thought it would. But then they obviously go out and sign Paul George. They go out and sign Eric Gordon, another guard who kind of fills that same role as Buddy Hield. Not quite the player Buddy Hield is, but again, that floor spacer, that three-point shooter. Eric Gordon's been around the league, very experienced, has familiarity with Daryl Morey. So then that kind of left some speculation like, okay, it doesn't really seem like the Sixers are going to be bringing Buddy Hield back. What is his market going to be? How are teams going to value what he did with the Sixers where, in 32 regular season games with Philadelphia, he averaged 12.2 points on 42% from the field, 38.9% from three. So it wasn't like he was horrible by any means, right? But especially that postseason run, it was, how is that going to affect his market? And how are teams going to determine what kind of player they're getting in Buddy Hield? Is it the player that we've seen his whole career that can be that floor spacer, never going to play much defense? Or is he going to be that guy that seemed to have lost his confidence and couldn't really find his way in that playoff run with the Philadelphia 76ers? And, now obviously the Sixers sending him out. So where do they go from here, right? We thought there was a chance they could re-sign him because, again, they had his bird rights. This is why they're able to do this sign and trade. So what could they be getting back from the Warriors? There's some talk from John Hollinger of The Athletic that this could be leading to future moves here for the Philadelphia 76ers. He mentions Gui Santos from the Warriors as a potential player the Sixers could be getting back. Now, I don't expect them to be getting any big-name players back, any huge salaries back from the Warriors because, again, the Sixers only have about $9 million left in cap space, and they don't want to, they want to maintain their flexibility and their ability to make future moves. So a player like Gui Santos, you'd be able to acquire him into your existing cap space that the Sixers have already, which means you could trade him right away. You wouldn't have to wait to then move him in a future deal. And so that would allow you to combine his salary with a salary like Paul Reed's to acquire a player like a Dorian Finney-Smith, who we talked about on today's show, because the Sixers right now, you look at your roster. You got Tyrese Maxey. Kelly Oubre is being reported to be starting at the 2 for the Sixers. You obviously have Paul George, you have Joel Embiid. So the Sixers are really looking for that starting 4. Off the bench, you have Jared McCain at guard. You have Eric Gordon at guard. So were you going to ever play Buddy Hield as a backup 3? Probably not. You probably want someone next to McCain coming off the bench, Gordon coming off the bench that could give you a little more two-way ability and just a different skill set than Eric Gordon does. So could you then make a move here to acquire a little bit more salary to then trade out for Dorian Finney-Smith, who we've talked about on the show, would just be a tremendous addition for the Sixers team as a 3-and-D wing, someone who is going to be low maintenance on offense, going to be able to shoot that corner 3, that catch-and-shoot 3, who is going to be under contract for a couple seasons here. So we'll see again what the exact details of this Buddy Hield move are. I would have loved to see Buddy Hield stay long-term. I think, again, theoretically, he's a player that you'd expect to fit well with the 76ers, but we didn't see it play out well, whether that was Nick Nurse's system or, Buddy Hield, something just didn't work, right? So now it makes sense the Sixers are able to at least get something back for him in free agency, whatever that may be, instead of just losing him outright. We've already seen them lose DeAnthony Melton and Nick Batum. Will they bring back a Kyle Lowry, a campaign, and fill out that guard room? We'll see what they do from here. But again, keep that in mind. This could be a move that could lead to future moves for Philadelphia as they look to acquire another forward, including Paul Reed's non-guaranteed salary. They could either cut him, but more likely trade him with a player they might get back in this deal from the Warriors. So keep an eye out on that. Again, we'll have content coming for you guys every single day here during this free agency. There's probably going to be another move coming for the Sixers. So again, that's why you subscribe, lock us in, turn on your notifications. You don't want to miss a single thing here in this free agency period for the Sixers. If they trade Paul Reed, when the details become official on this Buddy Hield move, we will have a video for you. So Sixers fans, let me know, what are your thoughts on this trade, your initial reaction to the Buddy Hield move? Let me know down in the comments down below. Hope everybody has a great night, a great day whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you soon on the channel. Peace.